The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello, I'm Maricela Kelleton with the news. The newly crowned Miss Pacific Islands 2023, Josie Nicholas, arrived home yesterday to a warm welcome fit for a deserving ambassador to her people by supporters, family and members of the Kairuku district.
Miss Pacific Islands 2023 Josie Nicholas thanked all her supporters and family for enabling her and the MPIP PNG team in participating at the regional pageant this year in Samoa. Miss Nicholas extended her thanks to the PNG government and Prime Minister James Marape and Minister for National Gaming Control Board and member for Komo Magarima, Manasseh Makiba, Imelda Agon, CEO of NGCB, the Constantino Group, Gemini Jewelers and Telecom, and Numi Distributors and Relaxo Pacific.
Island pageant platform here in PNG and across the Pacific. So the true empowerment comes from working together, and these platforms have really showcased the attributes of women in education, being cultural ambassadors, and being able to interact with people from different cultures and nations as well as different calibers. So this platform, the Miss Pacific Island pageant as well as Miss Pacific Island pageant PNG, have really promoted women empowerment in those areas.
MPIP has had a successful journey representing Papua New Guinea at the regional pageant for the last 9 years, and their biggest achievement was winning 3 Miss Pacific titles in the hub of the Polynesian Islands, 2015 in Cook Islands, 2018 in Tonga, and 2023 in Apia, Samoa. MD for Wanta Clothing PNG, Meriba Igarafalavai, stated how the MPIP team were extremely strong this year and that a lot of Josie's performance content truly reflected the culture of Papua New Guinea.
It's important that when you go to a new country, you are able to communicate with them so they can understand you, your people, your culture, and where you come from. And I think together as a team, we were able to do that. And that's why 7 judges in total stood out, voted for Josie, and she stood out. So 7 judges from all over the Pacific, including Hawaii, New Zealand, Cook Islands, Samoa, Tonga, Solomon Islands.
When asked how he felt of his daughter's achievement, this proud father beamed with evident pride.
On behalf of us parents, everybody has a child. As a parent, I feel satisfied. Satisfied that whatever her dreams are, and my backup is, and the mother's backup, she achieved her dreams, and that's what I'm happy about. That's all.
Karakiru Jr., TV1 News.
With the return of a successfully crowned Miss Pacific Islands, Josie Nicholas, chairperson of the Miss Pacific Island pageant PNG, Molly O'Rourke, said that in her new reign, Josie will now look at climate change and partner with the smaller Pacific Islands to be an advocate for climate change as it is affecting our islands. She said that young Josie will also talk on women issues such as gender-based violence and so many areas that she has to be a part of, as she has a long way to go on this new journey in her life as the crowned Miss Pacific. O'Rourke said that the MPIP PNG team will do their very best to engage her in a lot of things so that she can bring positive impact in her reign as Miss Pacific.
At 3 major tourism events in partnership with South Pacific Tourism Organization in Wellington and Christchurch, New Zealand, and also in Florida, USA, next month and in April this year. Josie will also be traveling to other Pacific Island nations to promote tourism and the diverse cultures that we share as Pacific people. My team and I would like to dedicate this win firstly to our Heavenly Father, God Almighty, because our humble journey began with Him.
The Minister for Foreign Affairs, Justin Chichenko, is on an official visit to New Zealand to negotiate the introduction of diplomacy classes for the Foreign Affairs Department of Papua New Guinea. During their visit to the Victoria University, they hope to make arrangements for up to 250 young people from PNG to receive diplomacy training over a period of 5 years. The minister emphasized the importance of regional security and highlighted the positive relationship between New Zealand and PNG in terms of defense training. The delegation will also show their support for the PNG female football team currently in New Zealand. In addition to their time in New Zealand, the minister and his colleagues will also be traveling to Canberra, Australia for the ministerial forum at the National Parliament. The main focus of the forum will be finalizing the security treaty between Australia and PNG, as well as improving the visa system between the two countries and to make travel easier for citizens.
Time that the visa is processed. At the moment it's about 4 to 6 weeks. We're looking at to see if we can get it down to 2 weeks or even less online processing. Also the way that the Border Force and Home Affairs of Australia also treat Papua New Guineans going into Australia, and officials to have an even understanding with that. And but it's a win-win. At the moment, Australia only has a 30-day visa to come to Papua New Guinea. But if we go to Australia, we can get a 3-year visa. So there's give and take in how we move forward on that. But I will expect some really positive outcomes on the 17th of February.
At a press conference held at the International Terminal, Minister of Foreign Affairs Justin Chichenko said the trip to New Zealand was organized at the invitation of the Foreign Minister of New Zealand to explore the various programs and projects that the two countries could work on together. The delegation will be visiting the Seasonal Workers Program in New Zealand, which has offered 18,000 positions for seasonal workers. Currently, there are only 100 Papua New Guineans working in New Zealand, and the delegation will be visiting them on site, meeting with contractors, the Labour and Immigration Department, and the Foreign Affairs representatives. The national government has directed the Constitutional and Law Reform Commission to undertake the review of the election of the Prime Minister by the people. CLRC's Chairman Saki Soloma says the timing is critical to PNG's 50th independence anniversary come 2025. The review of the form and system of government. The election of the Prime Minister by the people will commence after it is launched on the 15th of February 2023 in Port Moresby by the Prime Minister James Marape and CLRC Chairman Saki Soloma. Chairman Soloma said the government directed Constitutional and Law Reform Commission to undertake the review as the timing was critical to the country's 50th independence anniversary in 2025. Chairman Soloma further stated that the review will help determine whether an alternative system of government is needed. Apart from the election of the Prime Minister by the people, the other key matters of the review include the current structure of the National Parliament, the system of government, and the different levels of government. It is expected that the review will raise fundamental questions and discussions on bicameral and unicameral parliamentary systems, current three-tier system of government, the tenure as well as the method and criteria for the nomination and election of the Prime Minister, and the relevance of the English monarch as head of state. An online survey will be accessible to the public on the 15th of February 2023 for people to participate in the review online. Soloma said the final report with recommendations is expected to be complete by December for submission to the Prime Minister. TVWAN News continues after the break. Stay with us.
With BSP Internet Banking, you can enjoy your banking at home, at work, or wherever you are. BSB Personal Internet Banking allows you to view your accounts and transactions, transfer money, bill pay, schedule future payments, or access your bank statements. Visit your nearest BSB branch to register now. BSB Internet Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
It's that time again! Scale Rise is giving you the chance to win some Scout School money for 2023. Over 220 winners, 4 fortnightly draws, that's 55 fortnightly winners. Cash prizes starting at 1,000 kina, 2,000 kina, 3,000 kina. They also have consolation prizes of 500 kina. Buy any Scale Rise or Ori Rise to enter the promotion for your chance to win the Scout School money. Terms and conditions apply. Scale Rise,
The Brain Changer.
Open lens.
Strong like you, smart like me.
I hope they don't break.
Now surely look his son. This is Relaxo. Strong plus strength. Should I try him on you?
No, please. I'll take them.
Relaxo. Very strong, lasts long.
Welcome back. In overseas news, Fiji's Attorney General Siromi Turaga publicly apologized to journalists on Thursday for the harassment and abuse endured during the Bainimarama government's reign. AG Turaga was one of the panelists invited to speak following the launch of a report titled Fiji Media Industry Development Act 2010, an analysis organized by Dialogue Fiji. Participants at the launch for the first time heard harrowing accounts of abuse suffered by senior journalists at the Fiji Times. For 13 years, the threat of being persecuted under the Media Industry Development Act 2010 has hung over the heads of Fiji's journalists. According to the Fiji Times, a change is on the horizon after the coalition government began taking steps to keeping its campaign promise of a free press by either repealing, replacing or amending the existing act. The World Bank is encouraging China to overhaul its lending practices to stop burdening developing countries with crippling loan obligations that critics have dubbed debt trap diplomacy. In an interview with the Australian Financial Review, the bank's president for East Asia and the Pacific, Manuela Ferro, also expressed concern about the fragmentation of development assistance amid geopolitical competition among countries to build influence in the region. Ferro said if developing countries want to maintain a certain level of sustainability and even sovereignty, they would want to be more cautious and more informed with borrowing policies. Ferro said the Pacific and Southeast Asia have become a fierce battleground in recent years for countries to use aid spending, grants and loans to bolster their influence both bilaterally and multilaterally. Back home, the Mapex Training Institute, established in 2004, is wholly PNG-owned, offering job-oriented skills training programs for those who have completed Grade 10 and Grade 12 from the Papua New Guinea Low and Secondary National Education System. With 15 centers already established around the country, the Institute's biggest center in Port Moresby today launched a new accommodation facility for its students. A 75-year-old man has been sentenced for the murder of mother of 4 in Outback, New South Wales. Vittorio Stefanato pleaded guilty to the 2020 murder of Christine Nealon. He will likely spend the rest of his life in jail.
An 18-year sentence has been handed down for the murder of Christine Nealon, a 39-year-old First Nations woman who was last seen leaving her mother's Lightning Ridge home in January 2020. It took more than 18 months until Vittorio Stefanato was arrested for her murder. The two had a dispute over money Nealon wanted to borrow from him. Stefanato is a 75-year-old man who had built a popular tourist attraction at Lightning Ridge known as Amigo's Castle. The court heard that Stefanato shot Miss Nealon in the head with a rifle in a shed on the property and later dragged her body with a cord to nearby bushland. The acting justice called it a callous act of murder and said Stefanato killed a defenceless woman in close range, saying it was senseless and brutal. Her family cheered when Stefanato's sentence was handed down. Miss Nealon's daughter Julie was present. She said while nothing will bring her mother back, she's glad after 3 years of waiting for an answer, her mother can finally rest in peace. Other relatives also shared their relief after today's sentencing. The family is now calling for Amigo's Castle, the popular Lightning Ridge tourist attraction that was built by Stefanato, to be torn down.
As events unfold overseas, Syrian and Turkish communities back home in Melbourne have been feeling heartbroken at their inability to help in many ways. The community has instead been finding ways to comfort each other with the community they have there.
Prayers are always important, but this time there's a special focus.
Our brothers and sisters in Turkey, Ya Allah, they are suffering, Ya Allah.
Here at Melbourne's Grand Mosque in Tarneet, people are uniting to grieve.
The community really impacted by that psychologically and emotionally, so they want to pray God to us ease this situation.
More than 1,000 attended this prayer. Many in the Syrian Australian community are simply heartbroken.
I cannot imagine it, when I sit with myself to think about Syria, I feel so down, so down because it's my country and my blood, and I feel my sister and brother under that demolished buildings.
Nayran is still waiting to hear from her cousin in Syria, but she's keeping busy organising meetings and raising donations.
I need to be strong for the people around me. I wish, they hear good news and everything goes well for everyone, I cannot bring the word, because it's so hard. It's so hard, yeah.
Mental health experts are concerned that these events could cause serious harm to Turkish and Syrian people in Australia.
If you know of someone from one of the communities that are affected, reach out, just ask them how they're going. They may be fine, but they will really appreciate the kindness you've shown by reaching out to them.
This service is also about connection. It's a chance for the community to mourn together and connect at a time when they feel so far away and so disconnected from their friends, families and loved ones in Turkey and Syria.
Basically all my relatives that live in Adana have been affected. Most of them have not been able to go back to their houses.
Even though we're far away, we are still able to help them.
Mosques across the country have dedicated their Friday prayers to those in Syria and Turkey.
New data revealing patients are waiting longer for ambulances and treatment in emergency departments. The government says COVID is still putting a massive strain on the entire system.
Siobhan Christiani spent 11 hours with excruciating abdominal pain in a Melbourne emergency department on Monday.
I started almost feeling a little bit, a bit paranoid, thinking that really nobody cares and I don't feel safe here.
The 77-year-old eventually needed surgery for kidney stones, but every bed in the hospital was full.
It should never have happened that anyone should have to wait that long to be seen.
Patricia's experience isn't unique. New data reveals only 64% of ED patients were treated within the recommended time between October and December, which is up on last quarter, while 60% of patients that came to ED needing a mental health bed had to wait longer than 8 hours.
What we are seeing is unprecedented pressure on our emergency departments.
That demonstrates a system in crisis.
There are currently more than 82,000 people waiting for elective surgery, which is only a slight reduction on last quarter. Val Edwards is one of them. She's been waiting more than 7 months for cataract surgery.
And that's for one eye, and then I have to go on the wait list again for the next eye, so that'll be about another 12 months or so.
The government's invested more than $1 billion to try to drive down the wait list, including for this public surgery centre in Frankston, which won't be operating at full capacity for months.
We're seeing that stabilisation before we move to really drive down those numbers.
While our hospitals are still struggling to keep up with demand, our paramedic response times have also gone backwards. The most serious cases are waiting more than 9.5 minutes for an ambulance.
We have seen for the first time ever over 100,000 Code 1 call-outs. To put that into perspective, that's up to 3,000 calls for an ambulance every day.
Ambulance Victoria says it's experienced its busiest quarter on record.
And taking this story again, the MAPEX Training Institute, established in 2004, is wholly PNG owned, offering job-oriented skills training programs for those who have completed grade 10 and grade 12 from the Papua New Guinea lower-end secondary national education system. With 15 centres already established around the country, the institute's biggest centre in Port Moresby today launched a new accommodation facility for its students. The MAPEX Training Institute today launched a new accommodation facility for its training centre in Port Moresby. The accommodation facility will cater for more than 50 students. The facility includes standard separate board and lodging for male and female students, including a mess with a cook who will prepare meals for the students. Managing Director Marcus Kara hopes the launch of the new facility will ease parents and guardians' anxiety whose children travel from across the country to Port Moresby to study.
Many people, they know that MAPEX is just a small Tibet institution, and there are big number of students coming in. You know, people may wonder, even the parents and sponsors, are they going to look after them properly or something like that? So we try to assure the Department of Higher Education and also to the parents and sponsors, we have got boarding facility available.
The MAPEX Training Institute, or MTI, is registered and accredited with the PNG National Training Council and is recognized by the Department of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. In 2022, D has started work with public and private institutions to improve the level of skills and enhance quality to meet the never-ending demand for skilled labor in the workforce. Deputy Secretary for DHEST, Policy, Timon Bune, highlighted the significant amount of school leavers every year and the need for institutions like MAPEX.
MAPEX is working in one good way forward, and in one right direction, and we partner one time MAPEX. Because MAPEX now we come one time registration from the National Training Council. Last year I get one play any citizen. Only been making them. Larry Mogata private institutions come and under the Department of Higher Education, and MAPEX is one of them. MAPEX is now recognized by the department.
Meantime, the institute will be hosting regional graduation ceremonies for centres in Port Moresby, Lae and Kokopo starting March 17, 2023. Coming up in sports, EMK backs Civic Pride as the franchise prepares to make its maiden appearance at the 2023 Digicel Cup season. Taking us to break now is the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
When you're spending time with family, when you've got a big day ahead, when you have given it all you've got, when you're putting on a feast, that's when you want the best. That's when you want flame rice. New flame rice. Win him, Olgeta.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager. Bungum Yumi. Cheers to 70 years.
This should be a warning for you. His heart is already at its limit. He might not be able to survive another attack. He needs an operation as soon as possible, okay?
You should be scared, kid. Because your parents just sold you off to me. So I owe you now.
Wait, you sold Aris to Dante? How could you do that to him? John, how could you do that?
So you want to earn some big bucks, huh? You think you have what it takes?
I do. 2022 Telstra NRL champions, Penrith Panthers. Super League champions. Little kick, little drive. Little kick comes through, and it's chased by Paddington. Tongo takes it, Tongo scores. It's a pinpoint kick. Look at this, the simple
Charity Shield, a tradition that started all the way back in 1982 in front of 11,000 fans at Redfern Oval. That's amazing stuff.
Welcome back. In sports, Civic Pride's major naming rights sponsor, EMK Building and Cleaning Contractor, remains 100% committed to making sure the new entity kicks off its inaugural season on a positive note. EMK Managing Director and owner Emmanuel Kange has been part of the journey since day one. He is excited and can't wait to see the fruits of all the hard work.
Wednesday's big announcement of EMK Civic Pride's inclusion to this year's DSL Cup competition may have come as a pleasant surprise for the board after so much speculation and negativity from naysayers. EMK boss Emmanuel Kange was a relieved man seeing all the sacrifice and hard work come to fruition. While reaffirming his company's commitment to the cause, he looks forward to continuing the partnership with other supporting sponsors as well.
We got some good sponsors coming on board that I would like to take this time to thank the sponsors who have been with us. I think their names are on the board at the back. We have got Egmark there, we've got Village in there, we've got BSP, we've got Scale Rice, Papindo, JMS, Goodman Fielders. They've been very supportive for us in the last couple of years. And then we came on board, we pushed it through last year. And then 2023, as we said, we are in. So for the journey going forward, it's not going to be easy also. We are preparing for that.
At the club's media conference on Thursday, Kange said it's a great honor for the Civic Pride Board, which includes East Civic Governor and Patron Alan Bird, CEO Anil Krivanti, and Chairman Bradley Simon for the faith and loyalty and for believing in themselves. With 7 weeks to go before the NRLC competition kicks off in April, Kange has assured fans they are ready to hit the ground running.
But next week, the management are moving the 30-man squad to CIPIC. And I would like to appeal to all our people in the greater CIPIC. We are coming to you. We are coming to you. We know that you are good people. So we'll be camping up there with you guys. We'll be training with you guys. We'll be sleeping, eating, and camping with you guys. So we need all your support up there. We know you are good people.
The major sponsor also revealed they have picked a 24-man squad, including 6 marquee players, which will be officially announced in due course. The team will travel to Wivak next week to start their build-up towards the start of the season. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
And that wraps up the news tonight. Before we go, remember to apply the following simple measures to prevent transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water. Cough or sneeze into your elbow. And exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.